The crucial reasons. Why Bitcoin price will reach $1 million in less than 10 years. The cryptocurrency market has had a rough year so far. The price of Bitcoin and other altcoins continues to fall, and many people are left wondering when, and if, the market will recover. Some believe that the dip is nothing more than an overreaction to regulatory fears in the market and that once things settle, the recovery will be fast and furious. Others remain pessimistic about crypto's future and predict that this is just the beginning of a long bear market. But no matter what side you fall on, it's important to remember that the long-term potential of blockchain technology remains promising. The future for cryptocurrency is bright. We just have to get through this dark period to get there. Why is the price of Bitcoin dropping? The price of Bitcoin is dropping for a few reasons. First, people are getting sick of the volatility. Many people who jumped on board the Bitcoin train in early 2018 were looking at huge gains in a very short amount of time. They might have expected to see similar results to what we saw in 2017 when Bitcoin grew from around $900 in March to over $19,000 by December. But the market has been extremely volatile. Another reason is that people are moving out of altcoins and back into Bitcoin because they see it as a better long-term investment. Altcoins are relatively new technologies that have yet to prove their long-term usefulness. Bitcoin, on the other hand, has been around for almost a decade and is the most established cryptocurrency in the world. Many altcoins are going to zero, and the ones that survive will probably be integrated into Bitcoin or other major cryptocurrencies. What's going to cause the recovery? The recovery is going to be caused by the very things that are causing the current dip in the first place. The regulatory fears in the market are being brought to a head, and real, meaningful announcements are being made. The SEC is regulating initial coin offerings. More countries are creating their own regulations for crypto, and individuals and organizations are investing in blockchain technology. Many new exchanges and services are popping up, and the infrastructure is being improved on many existing ones. As these regulations are imposed, they will make the market more robust, increase confidence in crypto, and lead to institutional investment. A short summary of why Bitcoin will reach $1 million. There are three main reasons why Bitcoin will reach $1 million within the next 10 years. And they all have to do with the properties that make Bitcoin unique. First, Bitcoin is scarce. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins produced, which means that as adoption continues to grow and demand increases, the price will increase as well. There are many coins that offer some variation of a limited supply, but none are on the same scale as Bitcoin. Second, Bitcoin is decentralized. No one company owns it, which means that the entire ecosystem isn't reliant on the success of a single company. If a country decides to ban Bitcoin, it will have a very hard time doing so. The decentralized nature of the technology also makes it nearly impossible to hack. Finally, Bitcoin can be used for more than just monetary transactions. It can be used as a type of digital gold, a source of network security, and a way to store information. This is just the beginning of how the technology will be used in the future, and the more people that use it, the more valuable it will become. The institutional investment theory. Institutional investors want to get involved with crypto, but they need regulatory clarity before they make big investments. This regulatory clarity is what will cause the huge spike in Bitcoin's price as institutions pour money into the industry. As more and more people adopt cryptocurrencies, the amount of data being processed will increase substantially. This will likely require companies to hire more people to process that data, which will require a significant amount of investment. If these companies decide to invest in traditional data processing methods, they will have to pay a large upfront fee. This is a huge risk for any organization, especially larger ones. They don't want to make a huge investment and then find out that the system doesn't function as planned. With blockchain technology, organizations can avoid this issue entirely. They can pay a small fee up front to use the blockchain and then pay a much smaller fee each month to maintain the system. This fee will be so small that it will be barely noticeable. The network effect theory. The network effect is a simple concept. The more people that use a product, the more valuable it becomes. This is true for everything from social media to video games, and it's one of the main reasons that Bitcoin will reach $1 million in the next decade. The more people that use Bitcoin, the more valuable it becomes for all users. This is because the network is more robust and has more functionality. New features are added to the network all the time, and these features help make Bitcoin more useful for everyone. For example, the Lightning Network will allow people to make low-cost micropayments on the network. This functionality doesn't exist in any other cryptocurrency and will make Bitcoin far more useful as a payment network. The fee compensation theory. Transaction fees are one of the most frequent complaints about Bitcoin. Most people would agree that the transaction fees are too high, but no one has been able to come up with a solution. Most companies are hesitant to lower fees because they want to keep mining profitable. But the fee compensation theory says that this will change. The Bitcoin network is run by miners who process transactions and receive a small fee for each transaction that they process. In the early days of Bitcoin, these fees were nominal. But as adoption grew, so did the fees. Now, the average transaction fee is around $28. This is a serious problem for users, and it has led some to suggest that Bitcoin is a terrible payment network. The psychoeconomic theory. The psychoeconomic theory is all about how people react to the theories listed above. If Bitcoin reaches $1 million, the price will probably have gone up dramatically a few times over the next decade. This will lead people to believe that it is a bubble that is about to burst. They will be convinced that the bubble will burst, and they will sell their bitcoins in anticipation of a crash. This is when the psychoeconomic theory comes into play. Once the market has fallen, it will recover. And when it recovers, it will do so at a higher price than before the bubble burst. This theory has been proven many times throughout history, and it will happen again when Bitcoin reaches $1 million. Bitcoin is still undefeated. The cryptocurrency market has been in a downturn for most of the year. But many people who have been in the space for a long time will tell you that this isn't anything new. In fact, it is a very common occurrence in the cryptocurrency space. The market sees rapid growth followed by a correction. This is because it is a very speculative asset class and new technology. This is part of an arc that we see in every new technology. The first part of the arc is an idea. This can be an invention, a trend, or an advancement in our society. Once the idea is out there, it begins to prosper. Once the idea is adopted by a large enough audience, it hits its peak. And then the bubble bursts. When the bubble bursts, it doesn't mean that the idea is dead. It means that there is a correction in the market. New investors exit, and early adopters take their profits. After the dust settles, the market picks up where it left off. The idea is adopted by a new group of people, and the cycle starts all over again. This is what has happened to the cryptocurrency space. The idea of a decentralized monetary system has been around for a long time. Bitcoin was the first to implement it in a functional way. Now, there are many more cryptocurrencies in the space, and the idea is prospering. When the bubble bursts, these cryptocurrencies will correct and new ones will arise. Next time around, it will be different. That's because the idea is still sound.